The JBL Xtreme 321 versus the W-King X10, who clearly is taking aim at all of these JBL Xtreme speakers. Now, you may say to yourself, yeah, JBL Xtreme 3, that's all we need to know. No, a lot of you still like the JBL Xtreme 2. A lot of you still like the JBL Xtreme 1. They all have slightly different sound signature, the JBL Xtreme 2 being something in between the upper bass of the JBL Xtreme 1, the deeper bass of the JBL Xtreme 3. The W-King X10, it's clearly taking aim at the JBL Xtreme lineup. It looks quite similar in its fabric design, but by the way, it's IPX6, whereas we've got IPX7 on the Xtreme 3 and the Xtreme 2, but it's IPX5 on the JBL Xtreme 1. If it's still of interest to you, it is still of interest to a lot of people because get on eBay, bloody good value for money, and it's an upper bass. We make no pretenses, we don't have deep bass, but upper bass, we've got loads of upper bass. We're gonna go boom, 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 boom. It's that, I keep saying it, don't I? Slap happy sound versus boom, the deep, more rumbly, movie type bass, but upper bass, very different. Outdoors will cut through background noise. But look, 280 quid, 170 quid, 120 quid. What is a quid, mate? We don't know what you're talking about. That's a pound. A quid is a pound in the UK. It probably transfers equally to dollars for you. Just know, whatever it is, the cheapest of the lot, the W-King X10, even if you buy it new, it's clearly taken on JBL Xtreme series. I'm going to tell you exactly how they compare, give you a quick overview of the specs. Just to say, the W-King X10 is made in China, but all the JBL Xtremes that come from a big brand and cost you a lot of money, they're made in, China. All basic codecs, all SBC. 4.1 on the Xtreme 1, 4.2 on, in terms of Bluetooth, 4.2, Xtreme 2, 5.1, always very modern, on the Xtreme 3. Bluetooth 5 on the W-King X10. They will, of course, all do TWS, true wireless stereo pairing. I got one there, and it's stereo. Some of these brands, you've got to be careful because party mode, it literally is party mode. That means it plays mono, 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 up to 100 or more speakers. Oh, fantastic. It's all I've ever wanted. Most of us want stereo. All of these speakers do stereo. However, know that Xtreme 1 is Connect, Xtreme 2 is Connect Plus. You cannot connect to a Connect Plus, and you cannot connect Plus to Connect. And we got Party Boost on Xtreme 3, and you cannot connect Party Boost to Connect Plus, and you cannot connect Plus Party Boost, and you cannot connect to Party Boost and Party Boost to Connect. Are you getting the idea? The JBL being JBL, when they have their meetings and what do we want to do for all our user base, one of them is not compatibility. None of them are backwards compatible. They don't give a flying whatever. If you've got an Xtreme 3, it won't connect to the Xtreme 2, and if you've got an Xtreme 2, it won't connect to the Xtreme 3, or the Xtreme 1, and if you've got Xtreme 1, it won't connect to the Xtreme 2, or connect to the Xtreme 3. If you've got a W-King X10, it will connect to another X10, and it will play in stereo. A lot of you like USB-C connections. In terms of USB connections, it will only be the Xtreme 3 or the X10. They all have, can you believe it? All the speakers on this table have an auxiliary input. Wow, how much longer can we go on saying that? But today, 2021, all have, on this table, all have auxiliary input. Can all be used as a power bank. So you lose power on your phone. I don't know how many of you actually done it and you decide, do you know what, I'm going to charge it via my speaker. But if that's something you're going to do, you can do it with all of these speakers. You can use Xtreme 1 as a phone speaker. You can use Xtreme. I think X is meant to be, because they're taking aim at JBL. X10 can be used as a phone speaker. But hey ho, if you want to take phone calls, can't do that with Xtreme 2. Can't do that with Xtreme 3. In terms of power, know that with the JBL Xtreme lineup. Yes, they are portable speakers, but if you want to get the most volume out of them, you'll have to connect your power lead. You have to connect them to direct power, otherwise you will not get the most out of them. They advertise on the X10. Is that the Xtreme 10? 70 watts, but most likely it's 50 or 60 watts. And in real money, RMS. How much did they weigh? It's 3 kilos. That's the heaviest of the bunch on the X10, followed by the 2.4 kilos of the X2 of the Xtreme 2, followed by 2.1 kilos of the Xtreme 1, followed by, yes, Xtreme 3 is the lightest of the bunch. Why is that out? Well, neodymium magnets on the drivers. That saves in weight, and hey ho, it's the lightest of the bunch on this table. So, JBL Xtreme 2 and the JBL Xtreme 3 can be dropped in up to 1 metre of water for 30 minutes and should still survive. Whereas on the JBL Xtreme 1, it's IPX5, which is low-level splash-proof. And then the IPX6, or the latest speaker, the X10 IPX6, which means a bit more pressure it will take. But don't submerge it, drop it in the sea, drop it in the pool, drop it in the bath. You may well lose this speaker forever. All of these speakers have a separate tweeter. They all have woofers, they all have tweeters, and they all have passive radiators. Is tweeters a deal breaker? Not really. As I've said it multiple times in multiple videos, depends how it's implemented. We're talking budget speakers, even though that's £280, and it's not that easy to implement a decent crossover in a speaker. A lot of the fact that they've gone to tweeters, a lot of it is marketing. It looks good on the specs. Does it make that much difference in practice? In my experience, to my ears, no. A lot of you may disagree, but I would say, hey ho, at this price level, at this budget, given that if you have a separate woofer and a tweeter, does require a decent crossover, and you don't really get that in these speakers. In my honest opinion, it's more marketing than actually makes a difference in reality. None of them, not a single speaker on this speaker, on this table, do I find decent for Bluetooth latency. Wouldn't use any of them for YouTube. But the best of the bunch I found is the JBL Xtreme 3. 133 milliseconds, it's not good. 80 milliseconds is my personal cutoff. But hey ho, if you're choosing on that basis, go for the JBL Xtreme 3. In terms of battery life, well, I get 3 hours 50 minutes for the JBL Xtreme 3. I get 4 hours 4 minutes for the JBL Xtreme 2. 4 hours 30 minutes for the JBL Xtreme 1. 5 hours, it's claimed. I haven't tested personally on the JBL X10. I'm calling it JBL because, look, they're not pretending they are geared it to taking on anything other than the JBL Xtreme lineup. But the point is, more bass, less battery life. Goes louder, less battery life. Don't get carried away with battery life. Just know the biggest battery on this table is the 55.5 watt hours, by a long way, is the biggest battery in the X10. Let's have a listen.
Dangerous, yeah, she can get dangerous, yeah. I'm staying with a lame beast, yeah. Well, I'm staying with the gang beast, 'cause that's gang shit. Like, ooh, and they gon' stay by my side, 'cause them boys down to ride, yeah. Like, ooh, she tryna play with my mind, I can't be wasting no time, yeah. But them boys my wheels, got in my bag and I got out my field. I'm getting this paper, I'm stacking a meal. I'm with your hoe in the house on the hills, yeah. I'ma keep it real at the sacrifice to try to get my bands up. Shorty wanna fuck with me, she see me on the camera. She said she in love with me, but really I can't stand her. She just want part of this life, 'cause she see me on the ground. Double tap like who I am. She can get dangerous, ride with the blam. 'Cause she can get dangerous, she can get dangerous, oh.
Walking to the store, it's a white on an op block. Pull up with a gang, yeah, dancing like it's hot shots. To the LAX, talking back in the drop top. Bringing all the friends, looking bad in the cross. Feeling dangerous, so I ice my race. Yeah, I got it clear, yeah, I got it fit. Yeah, I might take your bitch, yeah, I ain't take a hit. Watch what you wish, yeah. Like NASCAR, running with a Mac, I can blast hard. Trash star, smoky like a pack in my backyard. Black heart, shawty scream my name in the black card. Yeah, she likes it when I hit, when I tap hard. Wait, what? Hey, shawty's the same, not without me, she ain't function. Running up the game, I don't got no time for love. Shawty, stick to your lane, I don't wanna hear you bugging. I live on the east side, with the street side. Yeah, the shawty is a dancer, with a free mind. Yeah, you thought you couldn't handle, yeah.
W-King X10 versus the JBL Xtreme 3. Hang on a second, what are the differences? Apart from they look exactly the same in terms of fabric. The JBL Xtreme 3 does kick deeper. It does have more deep bass, but it got more upper bass. On the W-King X10, upper bass sounds very different to deep bass, and you may prefer one over the other. I personally prefer deep bass. A lot of you prefer upper bass. In that case, X10 would be a winner. However, X10 for me, not great on vocals. Why? It's like, oh, well, and it relies on a 2.5 kilohertz peak, and then has a massive roll-off. Does that matter? Yeah, because actually, frequency response, your ears may well hear up to 20 kilohertz. If it's running off at 2.5 kilohertz, that ain't good. So less of a roll-off. In fact, the peak on this is around 12, 13 kilohertz. A hell of a difference. And by the way, they claim this goes up to 40 kilohertz. Does it go up to 40 kilohertz? No. No, that's marketing. No, that's a load of... Doesn't make a lot of sense. So, okay, JBL, the X10 against the JBL Xtreme 2.
Yeah.
Jasper,
Ay,
for real.
I might run it up, money long as a mile. Fuck it up, do that shit with a smile. She back it up, then she gon' drop it down. If she bad enough, I might keep her around. I might run it up, money long as a mile. Fuck it up, do that shit with a smile. She back it up, then she gon' drop it down. If she bad enough, I might keep her around. I might run it up, The crew rockin' with me, the game rolling sticky. We better get stuck. Won't sign for $1 million, I'm signing the titties. Think she wanna fuck? She do. My condominium, getting too many, I might cop another. And a crib for my sister, a crib for my mama, then some for my brothers. Okay. Tidal wave, had a jet hit me, I was down bad. Now I run this city down, I don't smoke, bitch, I'm in the chimney. Like I'm Santa Claus, hoes on me. Just cause I got designer clothes on me. She give me brain, bitch, I'm a holds on me. I don't call her back cause I don't know, shawty. Getting paid, like hallelujah, about time. Remember I was down on my face. Bad bitch in my ride, yelling at me cause I was late. That's my bad, even after the cash, I still ain't changed. Scared of my past, cause that shit didn't last. I lost my soul too many times. I'm scared to fail, so I saw on the line. I turn the bell when shit getting too high. Show my true colors, so they colorblind. Worry about death, I ain't been alive. Paid all my debts, so I ain't in a bond. Fuck it on stress, but that's when I thought. I said fuck it on stress, but that's when I might run it up, money long as a mile. Fuck it up, do that shit with a smile. She back it up, then she gon' drop it down. If she bad enough, I might keep her around. I might run it up, money long as a mile. Fuck it up, do that shit with a smile. She back it up, then she gon' drop it down. If she bad enough, I might keep her around. I came up from penny pinching and rapping in hallways. Handle business like bitch, I'm a boss. We been sipping the gang, getting sauced. Can't get tired of do this shit all day. In my bag like it's motherfucking lunchtime. I can chat with these bitches, my tongue tied. Shawty back, keep it up to the sunrise. Got a pack in a minute, we done.
I find, actually, surprisingly, quite close. But the differences between the JBL Xtreme 2 and the JBL X10, it's W-King X10. The Xtreme 2 actually has a bit more deeper bass. The X10 has more upper bass. The Xtreme 2 is actually a bit brighter. And as I've said multiple times in previous videos, I don't like the vocals on the X10. The reason is, you can see, however you look for the evidence, it relies on a 2.5 kilohertz peak, and then it completely rolls off. So it's very narrow. The frequency response, the frequency range for vocals is very narrow. It's broader on the Xtreme 2. Has deeper bass. There's more upper bass. You may prefer the upper bass kick, the slap to the face. For me, I think I prefer the Xtreme 2. What about against the very, 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 very old and smaller? Look at the difference now in sizes. Quite a bit of a difference. X10, the JBL X10 versus the JBL Xtreme 1.
Only made me say, only made me say that I don't ever wanna be like you. I don't wanna do the things you do. I'm never gonna hear the words you say, and I don't ever wanna be you. Don't wanna be just like you. What I'm saying is, this is the anthem. Throw all your hands up, you. Don't wanna be you.
Well, it's an old speaker. Never did have deep bass. It's not like it's rolled off. It's completely missing on the JBL Xtreme 1. But what do you get? You get an upper bass heavy speaker. You go outdoors. We liked it day one. A lot of you like it day 4,067,000. If it comes to bass versus bass, well, it's certainly more ballsy on the Xtreme 10, on the W-King X10, and therefore you're probably going to prefer the X10. But we come back to the old issue of the vocals, relying on a 2.5 kilohertz peak and a very thin, very harsh sounding vocals. But hey ho, it is clear. You may not even notice a difference, but for my money, Xtreme 1 handles vocals better than the Xtreme 10. The Xtreme 10 might as well be the Xtreme 10, but it's actually the W-King X10. But it's going to come down to taste. It's going to come down to how much you're going to pay for that on eBay versus how much you're going to pay for this new. It's only 100 quid or something new. You can't go wrong for the money. You buy this, you're not gonna hate this whatever happens. I'm saying, oh, I don't like the vocals and it doesn't have the deep bass, but hey ho, it for the money it does everything else really, really, really nice. I'm just saying, for any type of critical listening, you're not gonna like that. But outside of that, you're gonna absolutely love it. What happens when you go to maximum volume?
Let's start a revolution in the backseat where the coast of California started drinking. And I get that kind of feeling now. I'm thinking that I'm sure I had it coming and I never even cared to go to California. On a brink of paranoia, won't be taking over. Think all you want, but it's gonna Let's write another novel for the history when I'm close enough to touch, but still you're missing out on every conversation. Are you happy in the smoking of the rubble? I'm not scared enough to love you, cause I'm one pump, some switchblade, one pot shotgun. Smoking if you got a man, you'll probably be fine. You're a beast, I'm a savage, got no need for extra baggage. Serve the king of cannibals, but I can tell.
If you got him, it'll all be the same.
Choke on your tongue, your lips, we're having fun.
Just a blink before you know it, it'll all be the play.
W-King X10 in default mode, the loudest by a long way, over 2 decibels louder than the JBL Xtreme 3, although the peaks around 106 decibels a piece, not much in it there, and then quite a bit behind JBL Xtreme 2, 3 decibels down on the Xtreme 3, and then just behind the Xtreme 2, the JBL Xtreme 1. But thanks to quite heavy upper bass on the JBL Xtreme 1, it actually has more overall bass, 30 to 200 hertz, than the Xtreme 2 by a decibel, and same again over the Xtreme 3, but the Xtreme 3 by a long way, has the most deep bass, 4 decibels over the Xtreme 2, and an amazing 14 decibels up on the Xtreme 1. And that deep bass on the JBL Xtreme 3 minus 33 LUFS, that's actually the same as the X10. So the X10 goes a lot louder, but it's upper bass heavy. And in terms of deep bass, the Xtreme 3 still matches the X10. But the X10 is going overall a lot louder. It does have that harsh high, so you may still prefer the balance of the JBL Xtreme 3. And the Xtreme 1 still offers value. In terms of overall bass, although overall volume is not really there anymore. The JBL Xtreme 3 also noticeable, it has that big 13 kilohertz kick. That's into the brilliance range, and in theory that should give you a lot more air. It's missing, certainly on the X10 with a massive roll-off from 2 kilohertz and onwards, and only the Xtreme 1 has a bit of a kick around the 10 kilohertz. I'm only using indoor mode because EQ mode only goes about a decibel louder, and by the way, sounds pretty screechy. So forget that, because also I'm forgetting, if you plug the power lead in, the JBL Xtreme, all of them will go louder, but hey ho. Is it still a portable speaker? No, of course not. So if I don't use EQ mode now and don't plug it in, I think that's a fair comparison. Who goes the loudest? The JBL or W-King X10 goes the loudest by a by a couple of decibels over the JBL Xtreme 3, and actually up to 5 decibels over the Xtreme 2 and the JBL Xtreme 1. Is that a lot? Yes, that's a hell of a lot. If you double the power, you get about another 3 decibels. We're talking 5 decibels. So that is a huge difference. Even if you look at the peaks again, the Xtreme 3 with the Xtreme logo can match it, but the JBL Xtreme 2, that's the one, the JBL Xtreme 2 and the JBL Xtreme 1 cannot match the volume. The JBL Xtreme 3 can. It can also match the low end. But remember, 280 quid, 180 quid. What's a quid hour? We don't live in the UK. A quid is a pound. Probably it's the same in dollars in your country. But you also get in that harsh 2 kilohertz peak. As long as you can handle that 2 kilohertz peak, it goes louder. You probably think, money well spent. It's upper bass heavy, although it does have the deep bass because it goes louder. And hey ho, by the way, the JBL Xtreme 1 of the JBL Xtreme series actually has the most bass. If I take overall bass, JBL Xtreme 1 is the winner. Doesn't have zero deep bass, but overall bass, because it's extremely upper bass heavy, it's still the winner. And that may be for you a deal breaker, because you may get it for 50 quid on eBay. And then of course, stonking in value. That's the point. All the Xtremes sound a little bit different to each other. You may prefer one over the other. It's not like each one has got better than the one before. No, they sound a bit different. The actual frequency response, or the way they deliver the sound to you, it's a little bit different. It's actually gone upper bass heavy, no deep bass, a bit more deep bass and a little bit less upper bass, a lot more deep bass, and almost none of the previous upper bass. All very different. And it is a matter of taste, deep bass versus upper bass. So they all offer a value for money. But it's not a cheap speaker. 100 quid, almost 300 quid. That's a lot of money. I'd have to say, because it goes louder at the end of the day anyway, if you can handle those harsh highs, this is by far the best value for money. Just know that it's not particularly deep in the bass. It will give you a lot of mid and upper bass. Will give you clarity, but it will be a bit sharp on the ears, and it will go louder than all of these speakers. But it's not a zero-sum game. Just know they're going to sound a bit different. All 4 of these speakers will sound a bit different. Clue yourself up. Which one you prefer? What are you looking for? If it's just about volume, you will go for the JBL Xtreme 10. Oh, hang on a sec. It's not the JBL. It's W-King. All of the Xtreme 1 itself still offers value for money, but hey ho, the only one here with a movie like rumble will be the JBL Xtreme 3. They're all very different. Make sure you understand the difference between all of these speakers and what you're looking for. I hope you got something out of my video, and I thank you for watching.
I ain't about that life. I ain't about that life. Ain't no project wife, got my logic right, cause I'm not your type. I ain't about that life. I ain't about that life. Sorry, ma, I ain't get it right. I'ma just live my life. I ain't about that. I ain't about that life.